Hello, everybody. My name is Lisa Richmond. I'm an intuitive medium channeler. Um, and I just wanted to come on here. It's been a bit, it's been over a week. And last video, I said I was so excited. So much information download comes through about the trajectory of the week to follow, which was last week. And then I was like, well, jump on. Let's see how it goes, see how everybody's doing. And then last week turned out to be crazy, just crazy. So a couple things that I want to say about the energies right now is, for anybody who's watching this, you're probably familiar with kind of the content in which I'm talking about: energetic frequencies, the collective energies that's happening, 5-dimensional frequency, 5D Earth. There's a lot of that jargon. I kind of talk and information that comes forward, but that kind of information comes forward in a lot of videos. A lot of people talk about different aspects of this. And so I really want to encourage everybody watching to just use discernment in everything that they do watch and the information in which they do take in, because it's really it's easy to get swayed into a belief system that feels good, but really isn't aligned with you. So really use your own discernment on what aligns with you, because I will say this is that everybody's alignment is different. Everybody's experience here is completely different. And it isn't a one size fits all. Like, the information that comes through for me to share isn't for every single individual on this planet, because it couldn't possibly be. And I wouldn't think for a second that it would be. This information that comes through me is for me, and it's for the people who feel drawn and called to be able to hear it and listen to it and integrate it and ask questions and feel into what works for them. So in saying that, take everything I say with your own discernment and understand if it resonates for you, or if that particular thing doesn't. It's okay. It's just kind of what we're in alignment with. So I want to just talk a little bit about last week, and then how we kind of we did the switch from Cancer into Leo, which, I don't know for you guys, for me it was a huge relief. It felt like the clouds parted. Now I'm not sure if it was because of the Cancer into Leo thing. I can't say that. I'm not an astrologer. I actually would be lying if I said I knew really a lot about that kind of stuff. But what I do know is the energetic frequency that I felt and how they showed it to me. All my information comes in overnight. So that's really nice. I've asked for it to come in the morning or at different times of day, but no, 3 o'clock in the morning is when I get woken up by my guides and they give me all my downloads. So this is the kind of download that came through last week. Essentially, what has happened collectively in this frequency over the last couple of weeks is there has been huge energetic shifts that has come from solar flares. The Schumann resonance has been high, and the energetic frequency of our Earth has been shifting and changing in an accelerated way. So it's like what lessons we would normally learn or experience or integrate into our system, that would normally take, years, has taken like days. And last week was a big energetic shift. It was almost like they showed me that it's like gathering all this energy together to be able to like squeeze to the top. And so everything kind of felt really, really condensed. It felt like really massive. With bringing things to the surface in order to maybe just filter out or be able to reflect back to you the energy in which you're working with. So that was my personal lesson. I don't know how it showed up for anybody else, but what I learned, okay, is that everything around me is a reflection of the energy that I'm holding on to. Okay. So, I mean, I can wake up every day and I can see my husband and kids, but the interaction, the energetic exchange, the timing of things and the way things work out are all direct reflections of the energy in which I'm residing in. So the frequency that I am in will reflect back to me by the things around me every time, every single time. So I've learned that the more that I spiral, or the more that I get taken into it, the more the things will show up and reflect that back to me. So much so that it's easy to be able to lose myself in my experiences, or lose myself to other people's reflection back to me. So I'm using me as an example because I don't want to reflect my stuff onto any one of you, but just take a look at what is going on around you, good or bad. Like, I'm not, and I say good or bad, but I don't mean good or bad. I mean, like, in a perceived positive or negative, how it's affecting your life. Okay. What are the things that continually reflect back to you? And if you're constantly saying, why does this keep happening to me? Why does this always happen to me? It's because on an energetic level, you're giving off, whether it's the fear, or whether it's that thing in the back of your head where it's like, of course this is going to happen to me, or whether you're wound up to a place of high anxiety or high fear or high stress, then that energetic frequency alone. So let's take the energy of anger, okay? Anger and resentment, bitterness. Oh, why is this always happening to me? And of course I do this and this and this, and I don't get any of it back, right? So that's the things that we're giving words to, okay? But energy doesn't go on words. Energy works on energy, okay? So if you take around all those words and all those explanation, essentially, you're just giving off this frequency. That frequency is like a magnet. And so you will continue to deflect off things that do not align with that and bring in the things that do. And it's not obviously realistic to think that you're never going to be in a frequency of like anger, frustration, or bitterness. But the idea is that the more that you can identify it simply by like observing it, the more that you can actually thank those things for showing up and allowing you to understand what energy you're giving off. So like, listen to that again. So it's less of a why me, and it's more of a, oh, thank you very much for showing up in my life, reflecting back to me the energetic state in which I reside in. And that is the truth. Every single time. Energy doesn't work in a way where it's like, okay, well, we're going to give these guys a break and not have energetic frequencies match. We're just going to like let them, it doesn't work like that. It is the law of physics, if you may. Okay. I'm really into the law of the quantum side of things right now. I'm like nerding out hard to that, but that's a sidebar. Let's not get distracted. But this is really important for people to understand, because if you try in the moment, it's really difficult. Okay. So when we are really like geared up and something's going down and we're like really fired up, it's really hard to discern that in the moment, be like, wow, look at all these things that are reflecting back to me. I can learn off of this. Obviously, I'm walking around with an energetic frequency that isn't aligned with where I want to be, right? We're not going to say that in the moment because we're fired up. But when we're fired up right now, what is being reflected back to us is going to be like that. And so although it might seem really intense, it's actually a gift, because it, instead of rooting around in that frequency for a long time and taking a long time to learn our lessons, it's being reflected back really quickly so that we're actually able to see them at a faster rate. So here's my little story time. I'm going to use my example. Okay. I have 2 dogs, and I moved to a new city not long ago, and I didn't get my dogs registered in the current city in which I live in. They were still registered in the other city. I take them to the dog park because it's like one of my favorite places to go and their favorite places to go. So I'm like hot. I'm like running hot last week, okay? And there is so many things that are coming and reflecting back to me, and my relationships are shit. And like I'm like whirlwinding things, right? Like all this stuff is being reflected back to me, but I'm blaming everything around me. It's everything else, right? It's everything else. It has to be. So I'm angry, and I know I'm angry. I'm trying to pretend like everything's okay. And I open my van door, and I have two dogs. My big dog, I get the leash on her. And when I have the leash in my hand, that my little dog jumps out of my van while I'm standing right there and pees on the wheel of my van, like right in front of me. Obviously, he had to pee. So I go down to get the leash on my second dog, and this animal patrol people pop out. They're hiding, and they're like, "Your dog was off a leash." I was like, "Yeah, he jumped out for 2 seconds." Right. And then she's like, "Well, he was." So I'm like, "You've got to be kidding me right now." Like, and then I go fire. I just see red. And I mean, like, yeah, it was brutal. I'll say that. But like, if I wasn't in that frequency, that point in time, I wouldn't have been there, and they wouldn't have been sitting there, and they wouldn't have jumped out at me, because at that exact moment, my dog jumps out right beside, like all the things. So yes, it was brutal, but did my guides send me this on purpose? Absolutely. They woke me up in the middle of the night that night and explained everything to me. But I saw red, and I was angry, and I was like, rah, to them. And they were just like writing tickets on their way to writing tickets. The dog that was in the van that didn't even come out got a $250 ticket. Like, at the end of the day, I was charged $600 for that. I put my one dog back in the van and left, and it was $600. And there was part of me that was like, I'm gonna fight this. Rah. But like, why sit in that energy and just like stir in it and bring it up again and then rehash it? So I like get home, I'm so angry, I'm in bed crying, I'm so sad, and all of a sudden I have this massive anxiety attack, and I haven't had one of those in years, to the point where I was debilitated. My body went into shock. It was awful. And I'm crying on the floor, and I just say to my guys, "Please help me. Like, I need help in this moment to understand what's going on. Like, I need you to step in now and tell me what the heck to do now." And so, yes, 3 o'clock in the morning, bing, I wake up, and they start showing me how it works on this like chessboard. And it was like the Queen's Gambit. If anybody's seen that show, it's amazing. But anyway, she does her chess pieces in her head, whatever. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing how these players in my life are moving around in a very designed way to allow me to come in contact and make my move depending on where I want to go, what frequency I'm in, and all of that. So these dog people show up in the energetic frequency that I'm at, so that they can reflect back to me everything that's going down with me. They were a perfect gift for me to see where I'm hanging out. And yeah, that's like a humbling little gift there. But I said it was like it was an expensive, expedited life course. $600 cost me to figure out where I'm at in life energetically, and what is showing up for me in alignment with where I'm at. And it was like all of this stuff, all of the people that had affected me, that I was being affected by, and the reactions and my perception to the reactions, and all of it was playing out in front of me. They showed me every single interaction with every single person that was in my life at that time. And I was dumbfounded. I laid there from 3 o'clock till 6 o'clock in the morning, just watching them explain it to me. And they said, now you have the pieces. Now you understand the game, but you still have to live it. So they didn't say, okay, here's what you do next. You have the handbook. You have to understand how you as an individual maneuver through your game, through your life. And every time the pieces come up to block you, you've made a wrong move. You made a wrong step. You're in a frequency that's not getting you to the end game, kind of thing. And I'm using these analogies because it's easy to use this in words to help describe what it is. But essentially, that was the download. And so since then, I realized that I had to get to know who and how I like how I react, who I am and how I react in this game of life. I require a lot more downtime in alignment. If I need to be in alignment, I'm not going to go search out my energy from other people because they're just there to reflect back to me. So if I show up out of alignment, then sure as hell, that's what's going to be reflected back to me every time. And so it's humbling, but like take a sec to step back and say, how do I get my information? How do I maneuver through this game of my life in the best way? And that is get into your best alignment before you go out into the world, before you decide to interact, before you go to work, before you have a big meeting, before you want to get anything done. Make sure you are in the very best alignment that you can be in, and only you know how to do that. That's not sitting back and bitching about how unfair the world is and how ugly and despising and like gross and grotesque how earth is and how people are and government and blah blah blah. That's going to get you into the deepest rabbit hole of dog shit. Honestly, get yourself into your own personal alignment without reflecting back how the world is against you, because it will continue to do that, reflect it back to you if you're not in your own alignment. So what does that look like? It's different for everybody, but guaranteed it's not revving you up. That's not. So move your body in a loving way. Don't hurt your body. Like move your body in a loving way. Give yourself more time. So more time to speak, more time before you speak. Give yourself time so that your nervous system can relax a little bit. So you're not all fired up, so that you're not nervous or anxious about going to work. Get yourself in alignment. What does that look like? Is that breathing? Is that yoga? Is that meditation? Is that in your mind's eye, picturing your happy place? Is it writing? Is it a cup of coffee? Right? Is it pacing around your kitchen to get that energy moving? Is it lighting candles, spending time with your animals? That's a great one because they don't reflect ego. They're just pure energy. So that's why animals are so amazing. Is it watching your fish swim around in their tank? That's very calming. And it's like, it's really majestic. Is it watching the leaves blow through in the trees through your window? Like these are all things that help regulate your nervous system, bring your, calming your system down a little bit in order for you to be able to set up in a way that allows you to go forward in this game of life and showing up with your pieces in alignment so that you are ready to be able to receive the energy that aligns with that regulatory calm in your space system. Because if you are in this firing mode over and over and over, you're just going to keep whirling. And then guess what? All of that is going to show up, reflect back to you exactly where you are in an energetic frequency. And then you're going to have to play off of that. And so I don't want to like discredit people who are going through like really bad, horrific things. Like there is people who have to take accountability for their actions, for sure. I get that. But like, let's start small here and do what we can do to get ourselves into our best alignment so that the things around us can start reflecting back to us what we actually need. And that's not being in victim mode. That's not being in the world's against me. Like, I can't get out of this. You know what I mean? Like we can start making some changes to allow ourselves to actually be in our best play mode, I guess, our best move, like where we can go forward in our best selves. So I hope that this can at least land with someone. And we can, and I've talked about this a lot. This is a huge theme. I've talked about it a ton over the past couple months about this energetic alignment, and they just keep bringing it in. They keep bringing it in because we tend to, as humans, all humans tend to look outside of ourselves for the reasoning or the explanations on things and why things aren't going well. But I think it's within the accountability that we can take in ourselves, where we can say, I'm going to take 100% accountability for my portion of events. Because dog people made me mad, but I went like, I saw red. I probably wouldn't have gotten all those tickets written up had I like been in a good alignment. They wouldn't have even been there if I was in my best alignment. Let's be honest. I know this to be true now. So like they were sent so that I could be seen. I could see which frequency I was hanging out in. Like, ouch. Oh, that was the hard part. Seeing that that's where I was at. And I got myself there by this whirling in my head about all the shit that was happening around me. That wasn't my fault. It was just people that kept being jerks, right? Yeah, right. Accountability. So take a step back, bring yourself into the best alignment that you possibly can. Start small. Okay. Then start really being in charge of the energy that you're in. Is it in your best interest to show up at this place and see these people, or is it not? It's okay to say no. It's okay to start practicing using your voice. Energetically get yourself into alignment first. Then see how the things change as you sit back a little bit, hold your mouth a bit, and allow things to show up in front of you so that you can be in charge of your reactions and how you interact with the reality that you've created based upon your energetic frequency that's guiding your vision right now. Okay. So this is giving you the opportunity to take control of your stuff, take control of your life. And I know that you don't want to hear, like lots of people don't want to hear that, because it's like, but I've done all this and nothing's working. Okay. Well, you're still sitting in that frequency of victimhood then. Take a step back. And I bring this forward with lots of love, and I'm like creating a space for people to be able to be uncomfortable in that feeling, because it sucks. I was there. Frick, it sucks. And we were never free of it forever. But like that piece of humble pie can really help to take a step back and allow yourself to recalibrate and then see what's going on. And with that, my guides have brought the information that the alignment with our collective earth right now is raising. This frequency is raising and allowing us, when we move into that higher frequency and we allow ourselves to open up to this love and get into alignment, there's actually a lot more space of like compassion and love and freedom than we think. So there's a whole area being held and waiting and ready for you. So if you have any questions about anything I said or anything at all, leave it in the comments and I will answer it as to the best of my ability. If you're also looking for a reading, I do intuitive guidance, life coaching, also like just intuitive reading, direct messages from your guides or your higher self, and mediumship, connecting with loved ones. If that's something that you are interested in, there's 2 ways of getting a hold of me. You can email me, and my email is in the link below. And you can also check out Avalon Spirit, and I'm under there. You'll see my profile under there, and you can just book in there. So that's a company that I work with that I love very, very much, Avalon Spirit, or you can just email me directly. So I hope that this aligns with anybody watching. And if you feel like somebody needs to hear this, please share it. And I send you all the love and a blessed week ahead. And yeah, until next time, peace and love, my friends.